Welcome back to Technical Alphas. So today we are continuing with our second part with Bootstrap. Just a simple reminder, this is a beginner's course in Bootstrap, and this is to help learners who have totally no knowledge about Bootstrap. Later on we shall do a course on advanced Bootstrap where we shall look at grids and so on, but as of now we are learning the basics of Bootstrap. Now for today we are going to look at rows and columns in Bootstrap, and we are also going to look at how container fluid differs from class container. So please watch the video to the end and don't forget to subscribe. The channel name is Technical Alphas. So the first thing you should know, we are going to first create a class. Now here I'm going to say div class container. Okay. Now this is a div class container, and later on we shall see container fluid. Now after this we are going to create a row inside. Are we together? So a row, you know, it runs from left to right. Okay, now every row carries 12 equal columns or divisions. Are you together? In Bootstrap, every row is going to be divided into 12 equal parts, and those parts are columns. Are you together? Now you can divide them the way you want and then use them in different ways, and this is what we are going to look at. So the next thing we are going to create is a row. So we're going to say div class row. Okay, now every row has 12 equal parts. Now we can say div class columns. Now we can say long, then we say 12. Now here we have all the 12 together. Now we are saying LG means on long screens it should take all the 12 columns. If we use SM, it means on small screens. Here you can, instead of LG, you can say SM. This means on small screens. Okay, then if we say MD, this means on medium screens. We shall look at how we can make content fit different screens later on in the course, but this means different screen sizes. Are you together? Now you can use any for starters, but with time you'll know the differences. Now here I'm using, let me continue with MD. Now here I'm going to use all the 12 columns together. Are we together? Now here I can create some dummy text, like let me say it's going to be a paragraph. Let me use something like Lorem. Now this is some dummy text. Okay, now let's run this and see. So if you can see that content is running from the left to the right. Okay, so those are the 12 equal parts. Now this is the difference between class container and class container fluid. Now you see that content has a margin from this side to from the left, and also has a margin from the right. Okay, content is in the middle. Now let us first give it a background so that you can notice it very well. So we have class container. Let's use some CSS up here. So I'm going to say something like style. Now let's say class container. Let's just give it a background to differentiate it. So say something like background, let's say red. Okay, so we save this and we refresh here. You see that that's where the class container is. That red background is where the container class ends. Are we together? It starts from there, then ends this side, left to right. Now if we are to change this into container fluid, let me come here, then say container fluid. Okay, then save this, minimize it, and I refresh. Now you see that the red has disappeared, and now all the content goes from the absolute beginning to the absolute end. And if we change this in CSS, we say like container fluid, we see its background. So I refresh. You see that container fluid starts from the absolute beginning to the absolute end. Now when you use class container, your content is going to be given a margin from both the left and the right side. But if you use only container fluid, okay, container fluid, it will be from the actual beginning. There will be no margins given, but for container, just margins will be given. So this is the difference between the class container and the class container fluid. Are you together? We shall look at more classes with time, but these are the small classes and the major ones we shall be starting with. Okay, so let's get back to our normal stuff. Now here we have all the 12 columns together. Now let us create another row down. After this row, let us create another row down. Say div class row. Okay, you can create as many rows as you want. Now this time around, you're not going to use all the 12 together. We're going to separate them. Now let us separate them into equal parts of 6 6. So at this time I can say div class columns, let's say medium. On medium screen I want 6. Okay, now which means I have another remainder of 6, so I also have to divide them down. I have to put them down. So I come here, then I say 6, so the total is 12 of the row. Now in this first 6 I can put something. Let's say I can put like a paragraph. Okay, let's say paragraph. I say again, let me use some dummy text, lorem. Okay, save this. Now in the second 6 columns I'm not going to put anything, so let's see how it looks like. Now you see, let me remove the background, the container fluid. So if I refresh, you see now these are the first 6. Okay, I can give the first 6 a certain color. Let's say, let me use some inline CSS here. Okay, can say style, then I say background. Okay, I say something like lavender blush. Okay, now if I come back here and I refresh, you see that the first 6 colors, I don't think this color is going to work very well. Let me use something you will see very well. Let's say like lime, a color that will be visible enough. Now you see that green line. Now those are the first 6. So the next 6 to complete the whole row are empty. I've put nothing. So I can also put something in the next 6. Let me come and put them here. I'll just put something without a paragraph. So if I refresh, you see that I refresh here, you see that the next 6 have no background, but the first 6 have a background. So this is how you can divide your page into rows, different rows, and then those different rows you can also divide them into different columns, different sizes. Now at first I use all the 12. Second, I've divide them into half, so you can put content this side and content this side, and then your page is well divided. And you can also divide them unequally. How? Let's say we have 12. Let's create the third row. Okay, let me come down here. Let's see where this row ends. Then I create another row. You can create a row inside another row, but you have to divide it, and you have to be careful. Okay, so let's say div class row. Now we are going to divide it into unequal parts. So let's say I want to take the first 4, then the last 8 to make a total of 12. Okay, so I'll say div class column, let me say md 4. Then how many am I remaining with to make 12? It's going to be 8, isn't it? So I'm going to come here, then I say 8. Now here I've made 8 together. Now in the first 4, let's say I'm making something like a dashboard. Here I can put links. Let's say like this is href, this is anchor tag. Let's say this is home. Let's copy this. Let's break. Okay, now what we are going to do, let me break this. I want to have some links on one side. So let's say this is services. This is services. This is something like about us. About us. Let's say this is contact us. Okay, contact us. I'm just giving you a sample of what could be. Now we refresh here. Now you see we have links on this side, right? Now the other side we have nothing. So this other side you can put some other content. In the next, so these are the 4. The 4 they end here. Wait, the 4 they end here, Then in the 8 you can put your other content. Now in the 8 you can, let me say I have paragraphs, okay, something like this. Let me put another paragraph. Then another. So this could work. So let's refresh here. Now you see I have content on one side of links, and then on the other side I have so if I click, I can be clicking on services, then content for services displays here. If you want to create a dashboard, we shall do such in the later tutorials, and we shall see how we can create a dashboard using Bootstrap, a very beautiful dashboard. But here I'm just showing you how you can divide your page into different parts using Bootstrap, rows and columns. Now to show you this in a better way, let's give a background to the first 4. So let's say style. Which background should we give here? Let's say, which color should I use here? Let's say Doja blue. Refresh here. So the links were blue, so this won't work. So let's use something that's not let's say lavender. Okay, refresh. Now you can see that the links end where the background ends, it's where those first 4 end, and then the next 8 start from there. Okay, so this is how you can divide your page into different parts. Then you can apply some CSS to make it look beautiful. For example, for the paragraphs, they are not justified. Now if I go up here in CSS, I have a lot of paragraphs in this work, but I just have to come here in CSS and then say something like paragraph, open up, then I say text align justify. Okay, text align justify. So I come here and then I refresh. You see that now the work is justified. That is in paragraphs. Now for in the second column, in the second row, the last 6, we did not put them in paragraphs, so they are not justified. And you can also give them a padding to make things look better. I can say padding is something 15 pixels. Okay, to make your work look beautiful, you have to apply some CSS. Now you see you can divide things in different ways. Now this is the basic way of dividing your work using Bootstrap. We are going to be looking at more things in time to come. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching the video, and please hit in the comments if you have something to say. Put it in the comments, and then we shall see how we can work together. Thank you.